Support us by subscribing, ring the notification bell, press all, and thumbs up. Thank you. Good evening friends, I hope everyone is safe during these tough times. The bad economy, COVID pandemic and 2020 election has not stopped the new border wall construction along the southern border. America's border wall continues to rise from the ashes. Here are some updates. So far, as of August 10th, over 275 miles of the border wall has been constructed, over 404,000 tons of steel has been used, and over 587,000 cubic yards of concrete has been poured. There is some bad news, with arrest of former Trump campaign manager and advisor, Steve Bannon. He has been arrested for alleged fraud, for defrauding donors of hundreds of thousands of dollars, as part of a fundraising campaign purportedly aimed at supporting Trump's border wall. Bannon, 66 years of age, was arrested on board a $28 million yacht, owned by Chinese billionaire dissident Guo Wengyi, according to two law enforcement officials. Bannon has pleaded not guilty, and this will take some time to sort out in court. Private funding for a wall was just a bad idea in the beginning. Large infrastructure projects like the border wall should solely be funded by the federal government. This has to do with national security, not about a retired Joe the foreman and others promising a wall and allegedly trying to dupe people who care about their country's security. Fisher Industries, whose leader has advocated forcefully for the privately funded border wall in television appearances, built and largely funded the 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, of fence posts, promoted by the group called We Build the Wall. In 2019, Fisher built a half-mile of steel pole border fence on privately donated land in New Mexico, near El Paso, Texas. Fisher, based in Dickinson, North Dakota, has received about $2 billion in funding for wall contracts. An analysis released in June by the Project on Government Oversight found that Fisher and Barnard Construction Company, based in Bozeman, Montana, had received the vast majority of wall contracts. Fisher's latest win was announced August 3, a $290 million deal to build 17 miles of barrier in the Border Patrol's Laredo, Texas, sector. Brian Kolfage founded We Build the Wall in December 2018 as Congress battled over funding the wall. The former airman, a triple amputee who was severely wounded in Iraq, wrote on a GoFundMe page that he viewed the southern border as a national security threat. "I refuse to allow our broken political system to leave my family and my country vulnerable to attack," he said. Kolfage wrote on his website that he planned to build 100 miles of 18-foot steel fencing. Bannon, former Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, and Eric Prince, founder of the controversial security firm Blackwater, are notable members of the organization. Former Major League Baseball pitcher Curt Schilling, and former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Alexander Clark Jr., are also on board. By mid-January, the account had raised over $20 million, with a $1 billion goal, from about 325,000 donors, some who gave as little as $10. However, GoFundMe eventually refunded $6 million to some of those donors, when Kolfage shifted the fundraiser to an official nonprofit, called We Build the Wall Incorporated. President Trump has distanced himself from Bannon, while claiming he knew nothing about the project, and never supported it. The president is trying to keep his promised border wall with Mexico in the public eye during his re-election bid. His promise is to have 450 miles completed by the end of this year. The administration says it has received about $5 million from congressional appropriations. In addition, Trump has moved nearly $10 billion from the Defense Department to pay for the wall, a move that has so far survived legal challenges. Earlier this month, the Army Corps of Engineers asked private contractors for ideas on how to build water barriers made of buoys. The Rio Grande separates Texas from Mexico. The private group moved quickly. By May 2019, it had cleared hurdles to begin building a half-mile stretch of border wall in Sunland Park, New Mexico, directly next to El Paso, Texas, and on the border with Juarez, Mexico. In January, the group built a 3-mile stretch of fencing, just 35 feet from the Rio Grande on private land in South Texas. Within a few months, the International Boundary and Water Commission found that the wall violated water treaty obligations with Mexico, and warned that it could worsen flooding in that area. Officials called on the group to make changes to the project. The fence is much closer to the riverbank than other stretches of border wall. built by the government, which builds farther away because the US and Mexico have agreed to share water and electricity generated by the river. Significant construction in the floodplain could change the flow of water and potentially damage communities on either side. In its letter, the Commission drew some of the same conclusions as opponents of the project, saying that installing posts so close to the river could catch debris and deflect water flow in a way that would worsen flooding in a storm. Anyways, thanks for watching, and remember, peace through strength.